Today we're gonna talk about broken moves in Street Fighter 6, and by broken I don't mean that these moves are completely overpowered and they need to be rebalanced. No, I mean they are broken in a sense that they do break the traditional Street Fighter 6 rules. They're not necessarily strong or weak, they're just some very weird exceptions. As you know, in this game when it comes to cancelling into supers, there is some very specific rules. For level 1 supers you can only cancel into them out of normals. Level 2 supers can be cancelled out of OD special moves, and level 3 supers can be cancelled into from anything, even regular specials. But Terry got a very weird exception, and that have to do with cancelling the recovery frames of his medium kick tackle into his level 2 super Power Geyser. Typically his medium kick tackle got 23 frames of recovery, but if you input the Power Geyser as soon as the moves end, you actually cancel the final 4 recovery frames, so it recovers at 19 frames. This is weird because you're not cancelling like the active frames of the move. Like this is what typically happens, right? Like you cancel a move on hit. This is not the case. Here he's cancelling it on the recovery frames. And what is really weird about this is this only happens with Power Geyser specifically. Like if you try to input his level 1 super or even his level 3, the move will still have 23 recovery frames. This only specifically happen with level 2. And I imagine the idea here is they know Terry players will most likely try to go for the follow-ups, Twin and Triple Geyser, and they want Terry to have some sort of easy access to this, and that's why they gave him this very specific and kind of rule-breaking tool. Honestly, who combos a special cancels it into a level 2. No one else in the game. And moves starting up faster is not really that weird in this game. For example, his level 3, if I cancel it out of Quick Burn, the move got 7 frame startup. But if I cancel into it from an uppercut, it only starts at 2. But again, here we're cancelling the active frames, so I kind of get that is for combo consistency. But yeah, this one, this cancel is kind of weird. Another character that got a very odd cancel to me is Ken, and this got to do with his step kick. I don't know what this move counts as. Is it a normal or is it special? Like Chun-Li, what do you think? Because I don't know. On the one hand, if you do the overhead follow-up, this move is treated as a special move because you can't cancel into level 1, you can't cancel into level 2, you're only allowed to cancel into his level 3. That sounds like normal special moves in Street Fighter 6. But on the other hand, if you commit to the heavy kick follow-up, it's treated now as a normal and you get a level 1, level 2 or a level 3 cancel. So that is really odd, especially when you consider the fact that there are similar moves in the game. For example, Ed, you never see it, but its command dash, yeah, the first hit, I mean that can be cancelled into level 3. They never do it, but it is there and you can't cancel them into a level 1 or a level 2. So Officer Manon, this next one is gonna make you a little bit sad. But as you know, in Street Fighter 6, there is a type of moves, the command grabs, the unreactable command grabs. I'm talking moves like Honda's Ushio throw, regular command grabs, right? What's interesting in this game is that you can't special cancel into command grabs. Here with Honda, I'm trying to cancel into Ushio, nothing. With Manon, with Lily, I can't cancel into the command grabs, right? Except Zangief absolutely can. I mean, you can do any normal and then cancel it, a normal that is special cancelable, mind you, and cancel that into SPD. And typically, that will whiff if the opponent got hit or blocked. So, why would that be useful, you might ask? Well, let me explain. Say that the opponent is going for a drive impact or any move with armor. Zangief can special cancel his normals into that SPD and actually get a punish here, something that the other characters with command grabs can't. And this is extremely helpful. They will have to resort to using meter. For example, in the case of Manon, you will have to use like a level 1, level 2, level 3 or just block, but you can't really combo into the command grabs the way Zangief can. This makes his pressure, especially in Burnout, a lot better than many of these other characters. This is truly a privilege. I expect that they did this because Gief doesn't have like an invincible level 1 super, while Manon does. but it ends up being like a boon for him, something that is a lot better than what the other characters are capable of. What do you guys think? You're convinced? I hope so. If you like the video but you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Over 70% of my viewers aren't, so you get to see more of me and my friends, the EX-Men. And yes, like in my canon, Magneto is I recruited him. Excuse the silliness and enjoy the rest of your video. So this next one is pure comedy. It's gonna take a while to set up, but stay with me, right? So as you know, in this game, when you hit your opponent with a super, it depletes a bit of their drive gauge, and this is consistent across the board. Level 1 will do 0.5 bars worth of damage, level 2 supers do 1 entire stock, level 3 will do 1.5, and critical art will do 2 drive meters, right? 2 ticks of drive, and that is consistent across the board. But the meter that you gain as the aggressor during your level 3, that is different. That is different across characters. For example, here Honda clearly regains more drive gauge after his level 3 than Chun-Li does. But even within the same character, between the level 3 and critical art, it's different. Typically with level 3 you get a little bit less, and with the critical art you get a little bit more. I mean, that makes sense, right? Critical art should be better, right? Right? Well, no. Because there's one amazing exception, and that is Blanca. For some reason, if you do the level 3 with Blanca, he gains more drive than he does if you cancel or if you hit with his critical art. His critical art gives him back significantly less drive. And I don't know why this is the case. It seems like he's the only character in the game. I actually looked up the data, and it seems like he's the only character in the game that this happens to. And I don't get it. It's so weird. You would expect the critical art to be better, but absolutely not. Weird. That is so weird, and I don't get it. Speaking of weird, there's also some really other weird quirks in the game. For example, Aki got her jumping down heavy punch. That is a cross-up. And one weird thing I found about this is when you use this move to start a combo, which typically you will do, the next hit will be scaled. The next hit will do 80% of its damage. Doesn't happen with the regular jumping heavy punch and any other jumping normals that I know of. If you do know others, let me know. The first hit of the jumping attack will be 100, next hit will be 100. With this move specifically, the next move will be 80. And I figured maybe that is because it's a cross-up, so they expect that the damage might be too much, but that doesn't happen to Zangief. His jumping splash, that's a heavy, that's a cross-up, and the follow-up hit will do 100% of his damage. So I'm not really sure why this move specifically got treated that way. Speaking of moves specifically being treated that way, so there's a lot of moves in this game that are anti-projectiles, right? As you know, for example, Chun-Li OD Hazanshu can go through projectiles, and you can cancel that into her level 2 super. The same for Lily's OD Counter Spire if it's enhanced, the same for Zangief Lariat, the same for Kami's OD Spin Knuckle. That's consistent, right? But there's one annoying exception, and that is Manon. For some reason, Manon's OD spin is uncancelable into anything. Like, you can't cancel this into her level 3, you can't cancel it into her level 2, nothing. If you do the kick follow-up, you can, but obviously this is worse because it got less projectile invincibility frame, so you wanna stick with the regular version. And the weird thing is, the regular spin, if you have it, the meterless one, right, that can be cancelled into level 3, but why not the OD? She's like the only character in the game with an anti-projectile option that just for some reason got denied the cancel option. I don't get it. Like, I even make it scaled a little bit, but that to me is weird. Obviously, It's one of these cute things that Capcom do to keep a character in check. Like Terry, for example, like his critical art will actually wall splat the opponent, but unlike say Marisa, that will always carry him to the edge of the screen, so there is a drive impact threat that doesn't happen with Terry. It's like small things like that that tell you like, this is like a small khazoo set by Capcom to keep the character in check. I mean, that's pretty much it. And yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts. Do you know any other really weird quirks like that, things that just work in a weird way that maybe doesn't make much sense to you? If you know any of them, please write them down in the comment. I love looking up things like that. It's so much fun to me. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.